Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to DN. Today we're going to talk about how the economy is changing and why automation may be changing the ways that we work and how the economy functions. So I'm sure we're all aware that AI is here, it's here to stay, it's improving and it's changing things in quite a drastic way. What does this mean for the economy? Well, in theory, we're going to become more productive. Things are going to be easier to be created. Things are going to be easier to process, to manage. And that should see gains in terms of productivity in the economy. Now, you might think that that will lead to an increase in living standards, an increase in quality of life for the average person. But we've seen productivity increases for decades now. This is not anything new. We've had massive gains in productivity for the last 10, 12, 15, 20 decades. This is not a new thing. Technology is almost constantly exponentially increasing. Productivity is increasing as well. And as mentioned on previous videos on this channel, productivity used to be coupled with wages. So when we saw an increase in productivity in the economy, we would see a almost identical increase in wages and salaries. Now, this happened until the late 1970s and 1980s, whereby this was decoupled. And since then, really, living standards for the working classes and middle classes nowadays has been declining, relatively speaking. So what will this automation mean? It's going to mean that our whole idea and concept of the economy is going to change. What once relied on human beings to provide the labor, to provide the work, is going to increasingly be being done, undertaken by AI, by robots. And this means that the need for human work, for human labor, is going to decrease massively. So what happens at this point, whereby we have a world, a society, an economy where lots of people, through no fault of their own, are going to be forced out of work. And the system has not fully caught up to this yet. So work is still the expectation, but we are living with a scenario whereby the work is actually by and large not there, or is definitely not going to be there in the years that come. So we're going to need to redesign our economy almost in totality, and we're going to have to redefine what is work, what is value, what is meaningful work, and what should we as human beings be doing whilst we're here. If we don't have paid labor as such, then how do we survive? This is going to require a change in our ways of thinking to ensure that human needs are placed above the current needs of capital. If we carry on with our current economic system, we carry on with our current political economy, then we're going to see an ever increasing amount of poverty, degradation, homelessness, etc. as things just become more and more and more competitive under the current system around fewer and fewer jobs. And this allows wages to be squeezed even further for the jobs that remain. Instead of that, why do we not use the increase in technology, which is a byproduct of human advancement and knowledge collectively, to empower and to make lives better? I think that that's something that we can do as a population. I think that's something that we need to seriously be discussing now and in the coming years. But we're going to really need to radically change how we look at work. Because if work stops being the way that people survive and work is not available to large swaths of the population, then maybe we need to change the system itself.